Test, testing, testing. Tis a daily mother, whoa, the most muscular swolecast, beardcast, broadcast, gamecast, mancast, pimpcast in the realm because when Papa Swolio flexes, we all flex our biceps. Welcome, everyone. Hello on Twitch, hello on the Facebook, and hello on the YouTube. And of course, everyone listening to the podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes. Welcome to episode 726. Got an awesome, gonna drop some amazing nukes. So come on through the door. Got a live call. Chase Welty is on the line and he's on hold right now, but we're gonna be talking some massive weight loss. So those of you that are looking, I mean, we're gonna be talking some serious discipline, some serious weight loss. I'm gonna have him discuss a little bit his journey. We're just gonna jump right into it. It's going to be fire. So make sure when you come on in through the door, wherever you're watching, float some hearts, float some biceps. Come on in, and let's get this party started, fam. Let's just jump right into it. So let's take a moment to welcome Chase. What's up, bro? Hello? Did I get you? Did I cut you off? Chase, are you there? Hello? Hello? No, did I lose him? It still says we're connected. All right,
I'm here.
oh, you're here. Oh, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Cool, man. All right, I thought I lost you for a second. So what's going on, bro?
Not much.
There we
Just
go.
hanging out and waiting on this weather to come in.
All right, so
So,
I'll give you a moment. I just kind of introed you, and I thought I lost you for a second, but obviously, uh, saved by the gains. So I'll let you introduce yourself, where you live, maybe a little bit of your background, anything that might be applicable, for the fam to get to know you a little bit better. A bunch of people tuning in already know who you are. Those that are in Swolenormous X. But why don't you just introduce yourself, and we'll just start there because you have an amazing story that I'm really excited to share with the community. So I'll let you go ahead.
uh, name's Chase Welty. I live in Oklahoma, 28 years old, and just the last 10 years of my life have been really living overweight. I was anywhere the last 10 years between 275 and 300. And I had the typical same excuse that every dad does, that it seems like got busy with the career, kids, and the wife, and didn't focus on myself. And that was really all it was. Is I wasn't focused on myself and didn't care about myself. Um, it's not that I couldn't have eaten better. Those were decisions I could have made along the way, and I was always just procrastinating about the deal. Especially as I got heavier, it just felt like it was probably something I would never get back to being in shape or healthy again. So it was kind of hard to see an end result. But one day I just had a tough time getting up. I went to go check the mail. I was out of breath, and I don't know, looking at my kids, I was like, man, I gotta do something. Something needs to change.
So how long were you overweight
And
for? How long were you always overweight? Would you say ever since you were younger, or is it something that just kind of came
mm,
upon?
I would say I started becoming overweight whenever I was a junior in high school. I had moved from Texas to Amarillo. I had always wrestled my whole life and been in athletics, but once I moved here, I just decided kind of my last 2 years I was gonna just kind of chill and change things up. And so I started to get pretty chubby through the last couple years of high school. Probably weighing in right at 220 to 225 whenever I graduated, and then it just kept piling on and on and on. I went into the retail world of things, managing stores,
So you weren't active at
and it
all.
just
You weren't doing anything. You
no,
just kind of your version of changing it up was I'm gonna stop doing physical activity. You're like, I'm done.
yeah,
Okay. All right. So that
I'm
and
gonna stop doing physical activity. And I'm gonna eat the worst food that I can find in
yeah, right,
excess.
right. So that was like what 5 or 6 years about, or maybe even longer, probably 8 or 9. If you were a junior in high
Yeah, I mean,
school,
really, the last
10,
years
I guess
have
10. Yeah.
been
Hmm.
like that. Yeah.
All right. So you were you're with your kids and you were bending over and just you're feeling Like, what was the
out
moment
of
where
breath.
yeah, what was the moment where I'm sure you probably have one specific memory. Was there one moment where you felt, "All right, it was just literally like I flipped a switch, like, this is done. I'm over it."
Yeah, it was last March. As I was saying, I went to go check the mail,
Yeah,
and I just felt like kind of out of breath,
that was it for
and
you.
my
Yeah.
kids were playing in the front yard, and I was just like, "Damn, I'm just checking the mail. Like, what am I gonna do if I have to run or my kids want to play? Like, this is just checking the mail. I shouldn't be heavy breath."
Yeah, it's interesting how
And I just,
it's not like it's a small thing, but you realize how important or how out of shape you are, I guess, when you're doing a remedial task, like literally walking down to the mailbox. And
yeah,
it's interesting how right away your body, almost like on an instinctual level, you went from I'm getting the mail, I'm out of breath. Why am I out of breath? I'm not gonna be able to take care of my kids. Because you saw your kids in the
yeah,
yard, and you went right for that. And that's almost just feels like an
yeah,
instinctual, just parental on an evolutionary level. I have to be able to protect my kids and raise them and be there for them, of course. And that's really a pressure point I always try to push on people, that you have to think about who depends on you. And it's not just you looking good or having
yeah.
six pack abs. So you started exercising, or you said like last March, you started exercising. What what was your process for that? What was your approach? Because there's a lot of people that are watching or listening that either need to lose
Yeah.
a ton of weight. How much did you lose? I don't know if you said that earlier. How much have you lost to this point? Like, what's
To this point,
yeah.
like 107 pounds.
All right, so, like, over 100 pounds, 107 pounds, and that's since last
Hmm.
March, so a little bit over a year, which is a perfect timetable.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of people listening and watching that are 20, 30, even 10 pounds overweight, 100 pounds, maybe
yeah,
300 pounds overweight. It's one thing to walk to the mailbox and realize, "Okay, I'm out of breath. Something needs to change. This is bad." But then,
yeah.
you know, okay, you still have to there's a lot of habits that have to change. What'd you start with? What was kind of like, I don't know, what did you focus
Working
on
out.
first? Yeah.
I had tried to lose weight multiple times, and what took me, I guess, so long to jump on board and do it was, during wrestling, I'd been used to cutting weight all the time, and I don't know. I guess I didn't realize how easy it was during that time because I was just already so active. So just a little bit of changing my diet and some movement, I didn't really notice what was going on. Um, but over the last few years, I had tried to lose weight, and it was always food first. I would just stop eating, essentially starve myself, and do cardio. And that's just one thing on my mind that I was able to kind of say, you know what, I'm gonna start working out. I enjoyed working out when I was younger.
Yep.
Let's see where this goes. And so I went and I got into the gym. And at first I thought I knew how to work out. Oh, I did this in high school and I had this whole mindset, you wrestled.
Yeah.
But I quickly learned that I was coming into the gym and didn't have a plan. I didn't have goals. I didn't really know how long to be there. And I was getting bored. And that's whenever I decided to reach out to you
Mhm.
because I've been watching your videos and things like that. And then, I started the 90-day dash, which gave me, a formula to go to the gym with an action plan instead of just going in there and like starting a set and trying to figure out what's going to be my next exercise, what's going to be my next set. I had it, planned before I went in there.
Right, and
And that
there's
was a huge success to getting where I'm at. It was knowing what I was going to do whenever I walked in the door instead of
sure.
just trying to wing it every single time.
I mean, if you have it's one thing to have a goal, it's one thing to have a something that you want, but of course, if you can work backwards and realize where your weak points are, and weak points being things that will make or break your consistency, because obviously to lose 107 pounds is a
Yeah.
phenomenal achievement, and it takes phenomenal consistency. You put on the weight consistently over the course of years by not exercising and not eating properly, okay, but you also lost the weight the same way. So the way you approach each day, and having that plan is definitely what a lot of people lack. I think it's okay, they get a gym membership, but then walking through the door, that's one thing. And it can be very simple. It can be very simple, the workouts, but it's
Yeah.
still going through and knowing what your target is, knowing what you need to accomplish before you leave the gym. And just going in and
Yeah,
being there or having your GPS on at the gym isn't going to accomplish what you've achieved. Like, you need some structure. So
yeah,
what was the most challenging part about getting started? I mean, for everyone's reference, so that was just after the 90-day dash launched last year, in March-ish, and then you started. What was the most challenging thing for you? Was it because you had the plan now? Was Did you
yeah.
find any, I guess, speed bumps with consistency? Where'd you find the struggle? Because obviously you had the plan now, but where did you find that you had to keep closer attention to make sure you stayed on track?
At first, it was uh, going to the gym no matter what. Um, I was doing what I thought was a good job. I was kind of going a few days a week, uh, hitting the gym, being there for a little bit, feeling good, seeing a little bit of, weight come off. Uh, but I would say the discipline of just going no matter whether you feel good or not, because the gym doesn't really care if you feel good or not. It just,
Yes.
it's just a tool and you can
Yes.
choose to use it or not. So, I mean, I had days that I felt like total shit and I was tired or whatever.
Good for you,
And at
man.
first I really struggled with that. But, I decided, hey, I've got this goal. We got to view the gym like breathing, or fitness. It didn't have to just be the gym, just fitness. And, you have to breathe. You also have to do fitness. And whenever I just kind of correlated the two and just said, hey, there's no negotiating on this. You're just going to go. That's when I really started to see the tides turn, and things started compounding on themselves.
No
It would
doubt.
be 1 pound, 2 pound, three
Mhm.
pound, 4 pound, and it just by not missing the gym, it's kind of like a savings account. You put a little money in there. At first, it's not much, but then you look back, you're like, oh damn, this is working,
I
and
and
that's
then it just reinforces you
that
in
was it.
there. I love what you said. The gym doesn't
Yeah,
care. It absolutely doesn't. No one else cares, and the gym certainly doesn't. It doesn't have emotion, and
yeah,
it's options. I think one of the big problems is people treating the gym or their fitness as an option, as something, okay, do I have time to make it to the gym today? Do I have time for my workout? If I get everything else done, right? It becomes, I guess it's a combination of it being lower on the totem pole, but also
yeah,
basing feelings around it. Okay. You don't feel necessarily like waking up or getting up out of bed and feeding your kids, but you're going to do it because it's a
yeah,
responsibility, right? So you don't feel like doing
yeah,
everything that you do every day, and that has to be added to that list. And once you do, it becomes automatic. You don't notice all the workouts. You just get into that rhythm, and then of course you see results. Let's Because consistency and having a family is a, I guess, a button that a lot of people here, you know, they feel the effects of, maybe like the positive or also the negative or the challenges of having a family. How did that play into your your progress? I mean, did it make it smoother? Did it make it easier? Did you just use that for inspiration, with your wife? Like, that's a huge sticking point for
yeah.
a lot of people with their family or their support system. So how was that for you, as you were going through all of this?
Definitely positives and negatives. Um, I'm pretty lucky. I've got a great wife who has been there to push me, and
Hmm.
neither one of us were selfish. And sometimes you want to spend you want to spend time with the other, or you got something going on. But both of us, decided we weren't going to be selfish in that matter, and that if someone needed to go to the gym, just encourage them to go to the gym, even if you've been with the kids all day or vice versa, or at work, whatever the case may be. The gym was just something that needed to be done. So, we both, just kind of made that as, hey, it's got to be done
Cool.
no matter what.
Hmm.
Um, but then you got the negatives, the people who think that they know a better way, whatever the case may be. I probably wore people out talking about Swolenormous and all the things I was learning, and lectins and plant paradox,
Oh yeah.
because I've been pretty obsessed about it, and I love sharing it with people. And then so you got the people that just they don't they don't want to hear it, and that's okay. But they want to tell you what you're doing wrong or how you could do it better. But
Ah.
they're not making they're not
Right.
making, you know, any goal achievements,
Right.
so you just got to keep your head down and, just whenever you have a plan, just persistence beats resistance. Just keep doing it, and you're going to have the people tell you, "Oh, you're doing that wrong," or you can enjoy food more than that, or
Everyone's
you
got
can
an
have more
opinion.
cheat meals, and
Everyone's got an opinion, and it's always those people that don't do a damn thing themselves, right? It's always the people that don't
yeah,
work out or eat crappy, and they're trying to bring you down to their level, or bring themselves up to your level without putting in the work. It seems like
yeah,
everyone's got that. It doesn't matter if you live in Oklahoma. It doesn't matter if you live in Florida or Maine. It just seems that it's just a part of
yeah.
humanity. No one wants to put in the true effort, but everyone feels like they have the answer. But
People secretly like to see you fail because it makes them feel better about themselves,
see,
about failing.
and some not
So
so, and some not so secretly, unfortunately. But yeah, that's
yeah,
it makes everyone feel. Look, that's one of the big pulls for the daytime soap operas and stuff, and all these shows are so dramatic because it makes life seem so much better when you turn off the TV. You're like, oh, I don't have all that drama in my life, but we do have a lot of
yeah,
monotony. We do have a lot of monotony and routine. And one thing that I picked up from what you were saying is how the gym doesn't care how you feel, how you and your wife and your family, it's time for the gym, it's time for the gym. So you made it something that wasn't an option. And when you make it something that is a part of your life, I think all that noise and all the people, the naysayers or the negative family members or friends, did you find that you stopped hanging out with certain people as often, that you just didn't associate?
hmm
Because it's so common to be excited about something and its health, and you feel, wow, I feel like I have more breath in my lungs. I'm not exhausted anymore. I have more energy. I'm losing weight. You want to share it with people you care about, and then you get a lot of pushback. Did it affect how
yeah.
you were with your social life in terms of like who you spend time with or and whatnot?
Oh yeah. At first, I realized that I was just sharing my misery with other people that were just as miserable in the aspect of
Yeah.
being lazy. I was finding myself surrounding myself with other peers that were overweight or whatever. That way, if I want to go eat a burger, I could be miserable with that person instead of listening to someone, or watching them order that food. And it was subconscious, I
Yeah.
didn't know it at the time. It just, but now I do looking back. But the only reason I was with that person was because, of kind of my overall mental state
Hmm.
and how I was living my life. And you'll be surprised how much your overall mental state changes from going overweight to being in shape. I mean, it almost makes you not necessarily a new person, but it's a whole new level of confidence. You feel like doing whole different things. You're not, turning down things that could be fun and exciting because you feel good about going there and you feel like you can do it. It's just, I don't know, it's just a domino effect. So many things just start to change in a positive way whenever you get in shape. And, the mental side of it and just the friends you start associating with are part of it, and it's just,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know, you start finding yourself surrounding yourself with other people that care about themselves
hmm
and who respect themselves enough to not do that to them. And
hmm
it's just, really a simple thing, but it's like when someone respects themselves, they're going to make better decisions. And, you're the sum of the people you hang out with the most,
sure,
so
absolutely.
if you're hanging out with people that are better, then it all works. And don't want to say it's all weight loss, but it was a big motivation from it to become more confident and to get involved with those people and not turn down those events or whatever because those people are in good shape and you're not walking in feeling fat or whatever. It's just, I don't know, it's cool.
There's so many additional benefits to exercise, like you mentioned, just all those different side effects, not just the physical and the weight loss, but the way you feel. And it's hard to relate that to people. It's almost you can only say it so often. You have to be in shape almost, and you have to do that to feel those types of benefits. It's hard to everyone just thinks of fitness as weight loss or getting bigger. They don't know
Yeah,
they don't know the other things like going,
health.
yeah, like going to get the freaking mail, or I live a few flights up in my building, but just the ability to take the stairs whenever you want to. Like, I'm just going to take the stairs. I'm going to go up a
Yeah,
few flights because I have legs and I can use them. And I see so many
yeah,
people, elevators and just escalators, but just the little daily tasks that unless you're obese and unless you really had that hindrance, you might not see that comparison. And that's probably just as
Yeah,
important as the physical, right? I mean, not wanting to go back to feeling that way, not just you don't want to look overweight,
yeah.
but you don't want to go back to feeling like you can't move, just basic function.
Oh yeah. It was it was horrible. I mean, I didn't want to do anything. I couldn't wait for the weekends to come so I could just sit around my house and be lazy and eat whatever I felt like.
Yeah.
Or go to the movies and sit there in a chair and just, you know, eat and watch a movie. And, those were the things I was enjoying, but those become boring after a while. Now I get to still go to the movies. I still get to relax at home and do all those things I was doing then, but I do them in a more healthy manner. I don't eat popcorns and M&Ms when I go to the movies. I really don't eat. I get a water and I just enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
But I get to go do all the other things like hiking with my kids, um, being at my daughter's, soccer practice, being involved, playing with my kids in the backyard. If there's something that needs to happen, it's just I'm more pippy just to jump up and go do it instead of being like, oh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And just having the fog all the time, it's just you feel kind of spunky and like you want to do something.
That's
Just
what
you want to
that's
move
what's
and,
super
and have
interesting what you
fun.
said, the fog and brain fog is really, and that's gonna segue right into what I wanted to bring up next, or what I wanted you to speak on, because nutrition, right? So poor nutrition can lead
Yeah.
to that kind of brain fog and that mental or that lack of clarity. And Vince asked on Facebook, how long into your weight loss did you start the nutrition process? You start looking at nutrition. So when you were beginning, I'm assuming you were doing more of like the lifting first. You got into a routine. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, why don't you just lay it on us? Like,
Sure.
did you start with nutrition? Did you add that in? Because we've kind of touched upon plant paradox and the
Yeah.
elimination. So yeah, speak on when you got into the nutrition. Was it at the beginning or a little bit on your ways in?
So it was 100% fitness at first. Um, I knew that I had several habits I had to break, so I was going to tackle one thing at a time. And the first one was just getting to the gym and enjoying it instead of trying to tackle that and food and being mentally strong about it. If you put too much on your plate, it's kind of hard to handle everything, especially whenever you've been doing it for a long time. So yeah, I started with fitness. I started the 90-day dash, and at first I didn't give a shit what I ate. I was just my whole goal when I started was just move your body and get going. And what eventually happened was you're in the gym, you're doing those things, and you just almost have like a subconscious, light switch go off that says eat better food because you start seeing results, you start feeling better, and so it gives you a natural hunger to want to be better overall, um, because you're becoming obsessed with something, you're learning more about it, so that just naturally led to food being better. I worked out and I felt like I was getting really good at it,
Makes
and I
sense.
just naturally wanted to start making better food decisions because of the fitness. It was like, well, I just did all this and this is for health reasons. Why am I putting this in my mouth? I don't pull up to 7-Eleven and put diesel in my gas truck.
Yeah.
Why am I putting this donut in my mouth?
Yeah.
Because it does.
Their car, but food is the only way you get energy. And
Yeah.
that's exactly my own personal uh, approach with the programming is fitness first. It's fitness first. You get that physical habit, and then by effect, you're going to want to eat better because you're not going to want to ruin the workout that you just crushed in the gym. You're
Yeah.
not going to want to replace that, like I said, with a donut or with fast food. You're going to want to give yourself better fuel because you're trying to make it worth your while. Why would you work out and then go binge eat when you have a goal? So yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's fair. So where
Food's
do
definitely a lot easier
Mhm.
after you're mastering fitness.
Absolutely.
You don't think about it as much, and you
Sure.
think about it more of just a tool for your workouts versus just a reward system like you're a dog.
Yeah, pleasure and
Like
entertainment.
good dog, here you go, here's some treats instead of your normal dog food.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know, and,
Right.
and I was like
Right.
that for years. I mean, even when I used to try and do this, cheat meals. I mean, it was like this big elaborate thing. Like I was I didn't realize what I was doing until now. Just treating myself like I was a dog, rewarding myself with all this stuff I didn't need, and then instantly after I ate it, being like, "Why did I eat that?" And so, I mean, yeah, fitness first. If you're struggling with weight loss, just work out. Don't even think about the food yet. Just try to get into the gym every day and get good at working out. Take the time to learn how to work out properly and do good form and exercises and learn to enjoy that. And
Yeah.
the food should just come along with it. And at
The
least
hard
it did
part
for
is
me.
that most weight loss or transform your body all comes down to nutrition according
Hmm.
to everything that you see online. It's either
Yeah.
a shake that you drink or a pill or a powder or do this, change your diet. It's all the latest fad, right? Whether it's ketosis
Hmm.
or vegan or, those are a lot of details that aren't really the most important thing if you look at your health and look at your body as an individual perspective. So when you go and assess your nutrition. Let's say you locked your fitness down. So let's bring this back to you again, Chase. To how you went through this. So you lock down your fitness, and then it comes the nutrition. So because I talk about the
Hmm.
elimination diet, and I know you eliminate a lot of things. What did you
Yeah.
do? So once you locked down your fitness, as you already said, then you went into your nutrition. What did you do first? Like what was okay? I'm going to remove this food. What was your initial segue from fitness towards nutrition? Where did you begin?
Well, at first I started just eating the same as everybody else does. Uh, because I didn't really have knowledge about nutrition yet.
Mhm,
So my fitness was mastered, and I wouldn't say mastered. I was becoming much better and enjoying it and having the drive to do it no matter what.
mhm.
So I decided, well, it's time to start putting the food with this, and but I didn't give it the same effort at first. I was just doing what kind of everybody does. They drown themselves in chicken and broccoli and stupid muscle milk shakes or whatever they think is healthy, and
Yeah,
it wasn't
yeah.
enjoyable. So, from the longer I was listening to the Daily Swole, I was hearing just little tidbits on what you were eating, kind of what you suggest, your eating style, and, not counting calories. You can't quantify everything. So I just started listening to that a little bit more. I heard you talk about the plant paradox one day. You did like a nutrition uh, video in premium or something, and I watched that and I listened to the audiobook driving around in my truck, and it I saw that grocery list, and that's what I just started grocery shopping off of was the Plant Paradox grocery list,
Yeah.
and
The cool
listening to what he was talking about how all these diseases are caused by all these foods we're eating, and most of the people that are sick in the world from diabetes, cancer, whatever the case may be,
Yep.
like they're ingesting their disease. So then I noticed that I was, you know, wanting more and more knowledge about nutrition and how food interacts with my body. And I made it about knowledge instead of just, you have to eat this at this time. And it's like once I learned how food interacts with my body, it just the switch turned on. Stop counting calories, stop doing all this stuff. It's just this is really simple: meat, fruit, and veggies that are on this grocery list, uh, and just eat them whenever you feel like you're hungry, and
Simplify.
go about
Simplify.
your day.
Yeah,
And
simplify it.
yeah,
When
just
you go and
yeah,
simplify things, when you get off this whole it has to be a certain way, when you learn to educate, and that's what I would hope in an ideal world that everyone wants to know why. I think that really makes a big difference, and
yeah,
I think everyone just wants not just a list, but okay, eat this, half a cup of this, half a cup of this, follow the bouncing ball, follow the leader, which can work and does
yeah,
works, and which was why people believe in it and still go after diet plans. But when you really look at yourself and how you function as an individual and how you digest and listen to your body, because it's so simple, but we I don't know. I think
people
it's
are lazy. They want to treat
yeah,
diet, and they want someone to coddle them and take them on the way like it's the underwear when they were a kid.
yeah, that's
Wear this
true.
on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and people want to be told what to eat on Monday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they want to be told what to eat Tuesday and all this stuff. don't understand how they can
But it also
enjoy that.
doesn't
And
work.
I
It also
was
doesn't
part of that.
necessarily work either. It doesn't necessarily work if they're telling you to eat certain foods that you might have allergic reactions to. I think that's
Right.
the base education that we're not taught. So almost it's hard to blame anyone for not knowing this and not looking this up. We're not taught this. We're already fed since we're kids the wrong
Yeah.
foods. We're just fed this, and you got the food pyramid and all that. We don't have to get into all that stuff, but we're not
Right.
once we're exposed to these ideas and concepts, when you think about, okay, listen to my body, am I having violent diarrhea after eating this food? Probably not a good
Yeah.
idea to continue eating this food if my body is evacuating. There's something
Yeah.
wrong. There's something fundamentally wrong when you have that much inflammation that your body is getting rid of the most vital nutrient, period, water. When you have like
Yeah.
and not to get on like a poop conversation, but seriously, there's just some things that people accept as part of their life, right? You go to Taco Bell and then you take a just take a pill so I don't have, digestive
Yeah.
issues. People just accept it and start
Oh,
masking the symptoms. Go ahead.
well, this is actually perfect. Not if anybody wants to know, but for years, I actually had problems with the stool or whatever. It was just
Yeah.
inconsistent, whatever. And I was actually worried about it. I thought maybe I had Crohn's disease, or maybe I had some type of cancer in my colon, something. And once I switched to these foods and eating meat and, fibrous vegetables and veggies and all this, it just self corrected immediately. I didn't feel like I had to go to the bathroom every single time I ate and all this stuff. And for all these years, I was like, oh, that's just the way I am. And it wasn't. It was the way I was eating.
Right.
And, let's just, I couldn't even imagine going back to that. That's just one thing alone that gives me the motivation for this, is
Well,
not dealing with that. And now I realize, man, most of the things I wasn't feeling good about, you know, was just because of my diet and exercise. And, it's crazy. I had high cholesterol. I had all of these things. And I mean, I've had checkups. I've had my lipid panels checked, all kinds of things. And I mean, I'm as healthy as, really I feel like I could be, especially where I'm at. All I can do is continue to get better. But diet, man, it
phenomenal,
completely killed
bro.
me on all that.
Dude, tell me what was the first experience you had going back and eating a food that you used to eat? I mean, I know you've done it, whether it was ice cream or okay, you're at someone's
Oh yeah,
place, and yet, what was that first experience like? Did you have a reaction where you were just
anything dairy. That
so
was
so you
that
remember
that
the
I
first time
didn't
you went back to
realize that I
dairy?
had a problem with dairy.
So
Yes, because I
yeah,
used to drink milk like out of the gallon, and I would just drink it because I loved it.
yeah,
But I did the elimination diet and took all this stuff off and stopped making it my stomach so diverse of a million different foods, and simplified it really just to meat, fruit, and veggies. So once I started reintroducing things, I would notice it. And I used to be able to drink milk and get a little bit of an upset stomach, but now since I haven't had it in me in really a year
mhm,
almost, if I go drink a glass of milk or if I go eat ice cream, I will almost start throwing up right there. I immediately get an upset stomach. I don't feel good, or it'll cause bowel problems. I mean, and it's almost immediate. And it's
wow.
you know, it's and I was eating it and drinking it all the time. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times I would be late at night and just go have a bowl of cinnamon toast crunch and just kill a box of cinnamon toast crunch. But now if I even had a bowl of cinnamon toast crunch, I would be sick.
Well, you're not even just talking about dairy, you're talking about wheat, you're talking about sugar, you're talking about everything else that's in
Yeah,
the cereal too, but yeah, it's
yeah,
amazing once you start going healthy, and it's interesting because when I was really, really young, my mom raised me, and this is in the '80s, I was raised on organic food and all this, like,
yeah,
health stuff when I was really little, and then in my, I guess, elementary school, middle school years, I went back like like most kids, unfortunately, I was eating a lot of junk food. I would have candy and all the stuff, the normal things, but then I came back to eating healthy, and it's just amazing on the rare occasion where I'll even taste something super sweet, whether it's a soda or whether like, I'm trying to remember the last time I
yeah,
had something that was really artificial. I mean, it was probably something like Crystal Light, or I don't know. I don't know what it was
Yeah.
somewhat recently, but just the way your taste buds react to it. You just notice every
Hmm.
single you notice the impurities, or you notice artificial things in foods, or you're just it's amazing how unappealing those foods become. You used to look at that and think, "Oh man, I'm hungry. I would love to have one of those right now, whether it's a hot dog or something." But then you look at it after you're eating healthy and it makes you nauseous. And I really don't
Yeah.
it's so interesting how that works. It must be just the association of everything that you used to feel when you ate that, how you used to be heavier, or but I had the same thing. I had the
And I
same
think
thing when I look at
people just had a hard time
mhm. Go ahead.
separating the feeling that it was causing from
Yeah,
just their day to day life because they just felt like, oh, I'm just overweight or I don't feel good. They just felt like it's the way they were. So they weren't, at least for me, don't relate the food to the feelings. There is not making the connection because constantly eating, around the clock and bad food. So it's hard to tell whenever it's coming in. But whenever you simplify it all, at least in my opinion, and you're not eating a million different things, especially things out of a box, and you're just eating, a simple diet, it's easy to notice whenever something doesn't interact right. And,
sure.
it's like, oh, I don't feel good because I ate that instead of just being like, oh, it's 4 o'clock good.
It's amazing how you cover it.
You can pinpoint it down and listen to yourself.
Yeah, it's amazing how you can fall as or like what you just said, you feel drowsy in the afternoon. That could be dehydration, that could be a crash from what you were
Yeah.
eating earlier, or migraines. Did you feel anything aside from obviously losing weight and having more clarity? Was there anything else that you noticed specifically from cleaning up your nutrition? Were there
Energy.
just overall energy?
Oh yeah. I mean, I used to be a sleepaholic. I mean, I wanted to just sleep all the time. And, I was somebody that could fall asleep anywhere. I could be in a room full of people and just be on the couch out. And since I've changed it all, I know that the fitness has been a big part of it. Just getting the good balance of hormones and the dopamine release from the exercise and all that has been good. And the nutrition, the combination of the two, I used to sleep 8+ hours a night, but now I sleep 5 to 6, and I feel like a spring chicken whenever I get up at 4:45 to 5 a.m. And I have no problem just running all day long until I'm ready to go to bed. But I also have a routine now with that. I pretty much go to bed and wake up around the same time every day. But yeah, energy has been huge. I mean, I used to get a twist top monster, the big tall one,
Yeah.
multiple times a day, and I mean, I just chug, 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 just drink those. That's the only way I could function. Fake, fake stimulant. It's just it's only a brain stimulant. It's not an actual body stimulant.
Of
It's just
course.
and it was hard. And it just. But
It's
now
yeah.
I don't do caffeine. I do black coffee because
Okay.
I do like to have coffee,
Yep.
but I drink maybe 1 or 2 cups a day, and
And you're straight.
that's it, which is nothing in comparison. Whenever I would have, 2 or 3 5-hour energies, some monster, and it was just,
God, you think about
it was
all
bad.
those stimulants, and it's a vicious cycle because those stimulants and those products have things that are causing inflammation. It's just a vicious cycle, and you're sluggish and you're drained. Um, yeah, overall energy, I think, and what's interesting about exercise and eating healthier is you tell people that, and as a fitness professional, you always say you're going to have more energy, you're going to feel better. And people ask me, well, how do you have more energy when you use energy? You're working out, you're exercising, you're exhausting yourself. How do you feel better? How do you have energy? And of course, the answer to that is all the hormone release, all the stress relief, all those benefits, the physiological benefits with the exercise, in addition to your
Yeah,
body not fighting itself. So when you're eating, and this is just to clarify for anyone listening, when you're eating inflammatory foods, your body is literally fighting itself. It's like an invader or virus, essentially, in just layman's terms. Your body has to fight these foreign foods or these things that don't belong, so that does stress the body. You're
yeah,
going to have cortisol elevating, you're going to have water retention, you're going to have body fat storage, and you're going to feel exhausted because your body is doing battle. And just think about all those years, right, with milk, the cinnamon toast crunch, and
yeah,
you're just kind of, I guess, one step forward, two steps back, just spinning on a
Yeah.
wheel, just spinning on a wheel, just spinning on a wheel,
Yeah, it was,
trying to try,
horrible.
yeah, trying. Um, got some good comments since cutting out. Marie on YouTube said since cutting out sugar almost a year ago, I can literally smell it. I stopped for an unsweetened tea, and they gave me sweet tea, and she immediately got a headache. I definitely have those same reactions. I wonder how
Yeah.
much. I know a lot of it's physical, but there's also that psychological component too. When you have something, you just know what it's doing to your body. You just know how bad it is,
Yeah.
and then I think it compounds the physical effect.
It
You almost kind of bring that sickness into your body, but not in a bad way. It's just you know better.
and kinda what she's saying, could relate to, like, a Febreze commercial, like, you don't notice the smell because 'cause you're doing it all the time, but,
Yeah,
someone jumps in your car, they may notice an odd smell, and I think it's kinda the same way. Whenever you eliminate all these foods and you're not eating them all the time, you notice them. You notice the effect, and same thing with, like she's saying with sugar, she could tell it was there instead of, just being something she become accustomed, like kinda like smokers, they don't realize how they
right,
smell,
right away. Hmm.
and I think a lot of that relates is it's new, so it's your body is sensing it and saying, "Oh, hey, what is this?"
And once you do that,
I don't know.
once you cleanse out, it's almost once you create that good habit, like where you're at now, where I'm at now, where a lot of people get to, where they start cleaning things up and you regain your sensitivity. What keeps, what I find that keeps people there the most is that extreme realization how sweet or how sweetened things are and how artificial things are. Once you clean up your diet and you reset, it's, you just can't, I don't know, you can't trick yourself anymore. Um,
Yeah.
it's really it's extremely like the artificial stuff, it's so bad. It's so bad and it stands out really. You drive by a fast food place and you smell, that's coming out of the chimney. They're just pumping out the fumes.
Mhm.
Makes me sick. A lot of people, they're like, they smell that. Oh man, it smells so good. I'm so hungry. And it's
Yeah.
just, I don't know. It's violently disgusting. And I'm not sure if it's just more the mental knowledge or just my body's reaction to knowing what that would do to my body. I don't know. I feel like there's a combination.
Oh, no, I definitely understand. I think there's multiple parts to it, and, a lot of times you talk about just, primal in the body or how, it's just like something subconscious either to survival or whatever, and I feel the exact same way. Even whenever you maybe see, somebody overweight, it's not that you're judging them. It's just you see what they're doing to themselves in the same way. So you notice and you see those things, or you see people eating those bad foods,
Of course.
and you're just like, wow, what are you doing to yourself?
Yeah.
And they don't understand what you're feeling or what you're seeing.
Yeah.
That, oh, that food doesn't smell good or whatever. They can't relate because they're not there. And I was that person for years, and
Sure.
now I realize how a lot of people are looking at me whenever I say something about, I was saying, oh, that smells great, or greasy burger, or whatever the case may be. You notice those things. And
They're seeing the magic trick. They don't know what's going on
yeah.
behind the scenes. They don't know
Yeah.
they don't know what's actually happening. When and that's when I guess I come in terms of Swolenormous and the Daily Swole and my videos calling people out for being fat. I'm willing to take or hurt some feelings in order to
Yeah.
shake people up and wake them up and get through
Hmm.
that point. Because sometimes just saying, "Oh, that's not good for you. You shouldn't be eating that." They're like, "Yeah, whatever." It doesn't it doesn't
Yeah.
do anything. People are just going to brush it off because they are under the spell. But then sometimes
Yep.
you just got to shake, slap, and risk bruising someone's ego in order to help them change their life. And you are one of you're one of those examples of what can happen if you, and it wasn't that long ago, March last
Yeah.
year. It's a little bit over a year. It's only May, so a year and a month or two. And if you never started, if you never started, you never would have been here. Now, when it comes to getting started, it's never a smooth journey, right? It's never just, okay, you continuously lose, you just had an amazing time. And someone might look at a year and see 107 pounds. Holy crap, that must have just been a breeze. Well, not everyone can lose it that fast. Not everyone can do it like Chase.
Yeah.
That's him, not me. Where did you find I mean, there must have been a period where you didn't lose for a week or 2. Like, did you fall off? Did you gain a little bit of weight? What kept you and if that happened, what got you back on it? What kept you from relapsing? Because a
Oh
lot of
yeah, I had
people lose weight.
several
Yeah, like, talk about that.
plateaus.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would have several plateaus where I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. At first, it came off pretty quick, and it's easy to be motivated. Going from like 300 to 270 was pretty fast. I was like, oh, this is going to be easy.
Yeah.
But then it started getting more and more difficult. And so what I had to do was break it up into smaller goals. And I remember at first it was I had a number that I wanted to get to. Uh, and I'd be like, okay, I want to lose 10 more pounds. I didn't know why I wanted to lose 10 more pounds, but I had the goal.
Mhm.
So I would break it down to, okay, I want to get from the 250s down to, I just want to see it say 249.9999, just see the change. And although a number wasn't my end goal, by breaking it up into small increments and something that was trackable and measurable and obtainable was another part of it that made it where I could get there. And once you have something to go for, you can keep pushing and pushing and pushing. But I definitely had times where I would push and push and like get down to 251, and then I'm back to 256, and I'm like, what is going on? And you just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and then all of a sudden it just whoop, you had it's like it just would stick. And I don't know how to explain it or what it is, other than just maybe water weight and things coming in and out.
It's the
Your body
adaptation.
actually
What
burning
what were
fat,
your
but
what's your
it's just
thought of this? What's your thought of this perspective? Because I try to get across because everyone's gonna hit a plateau. If you're not hitting a plateau, you're not trying things enough. You're not
right.
taking risks. You're gonna find plateaus. That's just part of success and part of making progress. I like to equate a plateau because you don't see an incline, you don't see an improvement, you don't see progress unless you have something to compare it to. So there is no mountain peak
Right.
unless you have a valley next to it to show relative
Right.
height, right? So a plateau could
Hmm.
literally just be a small little portion of a gradual incline. You might just think it's a plateau because you've been bouncing between half a pound for 3 weeks, but that just might be before your body busts through another level. I feel like there's different consistency levels where your body will
Yeah.
change to a certain point, but then unless you're ruthlessly disciplined and you just refuse to budge, your
Hmm.
body will try. There's almost like a period after like 2 or 3 months where your body wants to go back and tries to convince you. But
Yeah.
then
It's
if
kind
you're
of
just
worried. It seems
yeah,
like, what are you doing?
yeah, and I feel like
Yeah.
the body really will start to pull back the other way, and that's where it's easy for people to fall off. But if you're just relentlessly consistent, even if you don't see progress, you just keep doing it, all of a sudden it just starts to come off again. Your body just gives up and says, "All right, fine, we'll change," because it's
Yeah.
effort.
This is what needs to happen. You
Yeah,
convince it
yeah,
essentially. It's like, okay, here you
that's
go.
it.
Here's
That's the word. That's the word. Convince, and you convince the body and you force it into a corner and you remove your body's options. You remove all the possibility for anything else to happen. You
it
remove
adapts.
every single exactly, but you have to force it to adapt. And
Yep.
that's where there's a lot of loss in the fitness industry
Yeah.
and with weight loss or with muscle gain is that if you're relentlessly pressuring your body to change relentlessly without any kind of shift with it, no options, your body needs to either lose or grow. Then
Yeah.
it will. Like you have to pound it with calories, extra weights, and lift and train. It'll grow. It will. It'll
Yeah.
have to. It'll have to do something.
Yeah. At first, it doesn't want to put the muscle on, but you lift it
Nope.
something heavy enough, and then it's like, shit. Okay, I need to make this easier. Let's build some muscle.
Right.
And that's really all it is. Building muscle is just your body reacting to it all. And people have made it seem like it was something so complicated, and bodybuilding level is something that's just completely different.
It's
But
so different.
when
It's
you're
a
just trying
whole
to be
different a whole
healthy
different
and
environment.
fit,
Sure.
yeah,
Absolutely. It's a sport. It's not a healthy sport either.
yeah.
It's not healthy. That's
No,
the
it's
that's the
still
big
excessive body mass.
misconception.
It's not good for
Yes.
the heart. Yeah,
Right.
they're just muscular fat people. But
It's like
each their own.
it's like being fat, but it's being fat with muscle. It's almost like, the same
Yeah.
type of well, you see it all the time, right? You see all the big pro bodybuilders. Of course, they're taking so much anabolics and steroids and all those other things,
Oh
but
yeah.
they're getting hip replacements, they're having heart surgeries, they're having all sorts of issues all the time,
Hmm.
you know? No one's supposed to that's
Yeah.
it's not natural. It's not natural, that's for sure, and I think, there's an illusion that looking lean and seeing abs. Hey, seeing abs has nothing to do with being healthy. Having excessive body fat around your midsection, that's different. But if you have a
Yeah.
flat
That's
stomach,
visceral fat. That's
e-
bad for you.
exactly.
Yeah.
You don't need to see your abdominals to be healthy. Like there's no that doesn't mean that you're going to live longer. Doesn't mean that you're going to be more
No, it's actually
mobile.
really hard to do too, to
It's
maintain that low of a body fat.
e- extremely hard.
You have to fill your tank up every single day and run it to empty. You just
Yeah.
it's a balance every
Yes.
single day. It's like, and it's real dis.
Yeah. And
Um,
that's something, yeah,
I
that's
mean,
something you have to learn with experience, and I've learned that
yeah,
I'm fairly lean, but fluctuating day to day. You're gonna look leaner. Some days I'm gonna see my abs and say, "Wow, I'm really on point." The next day, what was I thinking? It just looks
yeah.
like, bloated. I mean, if you really get too superficial with it, it's gonna pull you all different
Hmm.
directions. I mean, how was your experience with how'd you track your progress, by the way? Did you weigh yourself? How often did you weigh yourself? What were you doing with progress tracking? How'd you know you know, how'd you know you're doing well?
At first, I was a scale junkie,
Yeah. How
and
often?
that's all I cared about. And I was using it as a number instead of a tool, just to understand where I'm at. And
How
at
often were
first,
you weighing yourself?
I even did it with food. Every time it was in front of me,
Oh, so you stepped on the scale every
and
time you went to the gym or every time you were past it?
pretty much, yeah, I have it in my bathroom. So just every
Oh,
morning, every
yeah.
night, every shower, just every chance I saw that and was pretty much in underwear, I was stepping on that scale.
Yeah.
And then I changed it over to measurements,
Interesting.
and I liked that for me better because it was something that instead of it just being a number, I was seeing, okay, my midsection is getting smaller, which means that I'm losing visceral fat,
Sure.
and my arms were getting smaller, but I knew I wasn't losing muscle. I was losing the fat around
Yeah, you're not
it, and
that would make more
I was
sense.
able to
Sure.
track it and have something to reference to, and it was cool. I put it in like a small little leather journal, and I didn't. Once I swapped from the scale to measurement, I just did it here and there, kind of whenever I remembered. But a year later, going back and looking at, it's like, oh wow, I saw this. This really wasn't that tough. If people could see, hindsight's 2020. Like losing this weight was easier than being someone that was fat. Like it took more effort for me to be fat than it does for me to be the weight that I am today.
That's
My
interesting.
life was harder and all these things.
All the
So,
things,
just
sure.
I really enjoyed having something to track. And then also I took a lot of pictures, especially once I started noticing it come off.
And you're not gonna
You know,
take
I,
it
I
you're not gonna take
probably
pictures as much. You're not gonna take pictures and physical measurements as much
right.
as or as often as you would step on a scale. So it actually helps you
Yeah.
focus more on what you're doing every day. I really like that. I mean,
Yeah.
measurements are great. Not everyone takes good measurements or actually gets those
Yeah.
done, but stepping on a scale is just it fluctuates too much and
Hmm.
unless you're really disciplined with your goals, then
Yeah.
it's easy to lose motivation and inspiration and consistency just based on that number.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, the scale can be a general guide, but it shouldn't be what you live your life by. Because I mean, that's difficult. I mean, depending on the time you eat. I mean, if you just drink a bottle of water and go step on it, you get disappointed because you just drank 16 ounces of water, which is actual weight sitting in your body,
Yeah,
which transfers to that scale. And
that's it.
you don't think of it like that, but that's just something your body will cycle and use.
Yeah,
So if you've had a day where you drink a gallon of water and you might go step on that scale and be 4 or 5 pounds heavier than the next morning.
yep.
And I don't know, it just that was happening for me, and I was like, you know what? I know I'm eating good food and I'm working my ass off. This is working.
That's what's
I'm gonna stop
important.
worrying about what that number says.
That's
And
what's important.
it,
If you have all the ducks in a row and you're executing what needs to be done every day, it's it's doing it whether you feel like it or not because it's time to do it and it will come off. Like it will get better. I mean, after losing all this weight,
mhm,
after coming to where you are now, and we talked for a couple minutes before brought you on here live, where so
Yeah.
you've lost all this weight, but and you're different essentially. You're essentially a different person, or you're the person
Oh yeah.
you always knew you were and could be. You've made amazing progress. Where are you shifting now? Because I think when someone wants to lose 100 pounds, if that's their goal and they lose it, oftentimes you don't think about what next because you're not going to die
Yeah.
tomorrow. You're still like you're 28 years old. You lost 100
Yeah.
pounds. The game's not over. It's just it hasn't even begun yet. So where's the focus now? Because it's always helpful to have some type of goal or an overall vision. That way you stay consistent because it's
Yeah.
all about the consistency. So where are you at now with your training? What has shifted from maybe how you were eating or what your focus was? We touched upon
Yeah.
that briefly, but why don't you go into that?
So I've got a few goals. Number one is just life longevity. So that's my overall motivator. That's what got me going, was being able to be there for my kids and all that. So now that I've learned everything that I have, and I have the tools and the knowledge to be healthy, I'll just continue on this track, so that I can extend my life as long as possible. I know I can't stop everything. I could get in a car wreck. I could come down with some rare disease, whatever. But I can try and prevent what I can prevent. I can try and stop diabetes or whatever I can. I can take the precautions to do so, to maybe gain those years I wouldn't have had otherwise, and just to live a better life as I go. I'm One thing is, I'm going to the Bahamas in June, and if I would have been going to the Bahamas in June the way I was last year, I would be dreading this trip. All right, here's another shorts and shirt trip. Getting soaking wet in the freaking ocean and being embarrassed. I wouldn't even enjoy it.
Yeah.
And now I'm super excited to go, because I'm excited to do the activities that are going to be there, to be able to go swim and to run around and just enjoy it. And now I see, like, man, just losing this weight is allowing you to enjoy things in a whole other way. Of course, yeah, it'd be cool to go to the Bahamas, but now you can actually enjoy the Bahamas outside of sitting in the resort in the food areas all day. Like, you can actually go see the Bahamas,
Yeah. You have
you
the
know.
energy to do it. You
So
have
it's
the
just,
confidence
those
to
are
do
some of the
it.
little things.
Take off your shirt at the
Yeah,
beach and things like that. And those are seemingly superficial things, but it's not. It's just you've taken this past year and you've rebuilt your own personal self-worth. You've respected your body. You've learned what your body will give back to you if you honor it and you treat it properly. And
yeah,
there's a difference between being, having an ego and being happy with what you've created because it's your effort. It's based on what you did
yeah,
and it's being proud of yourself and also living life on your terms and the way you want to. And it's just great to be able to hear that you can do that now just based on
oh yeah,
some simple things and just overall consistency, but uh just respecting your
yeah.
body.
I didn't realize how many things I was turning down, with friends or family or whatever, just creating oh, I'm busy or whatever, just because I didn't want to be there, because I thought I would enjoy it, or it just wasn't, something for me. But really, it was just, I was out of shape. I didn't know that,
Mhm.
but subconsciously, it's just, you're not gonna enjoy that. That doesn't sound fun at all. But I don't know. It's just like everything changes once you do it. I mean, I don't know. It's not anything magic. It's just probably the way we were supposed to be.
Well, it's we're not supposed to have excess food. We're not supposed to have necessarily
Yeah,
stores or places where we can just buy whatever we want whenever we want. We just have access to too much food. We're used to, or we're supposed to, I guess, originally, to go hunt it, gather it, go get it. And you're utilizing energy to hunt, to kill. You're getting it fresh. You're not getting artificial
yeah,
things. It's naturally growing on trees, fruit when it's in season, nuts, berries, animal protein. Like you're getting real food and you're getting it and you're working to get it. So you're technically exercising. I can't
yeah.
imagine something too much harder than trying to kill a buffalo with spears. I mean,
Right.
that sounds like it's
Take multiple days to do that,
yeah,
and yeah,
sounds like
and just
and do it all without eating. So you're like fasting that whole time. That just sounds That sounds lovely.
Yeah, but now it's like, "Oh, I want a cheeseburger.
yeah,
Here you go. I want
it's
another
your
cheeseburger. Here
decision.
you go. I want another cheeseburger.
Yeah,
Here you go."
and now you have the
Yeah,
op
it's
you have the option whether or not you wanna get out of your car. Like, "I think I'm just gonna drive
yeah, people
through and
don't
have
have
some."
self-control.
Yes, right. So now you're the kid that wants the treat, but now you have the car, you have the bank account, you have the ability to get the treats whenever you want. And that's really the difference. The
Yep,
kid that's crying, "I want this candy bar, I want this candy bar" at the supermarket, you were the kid that now has the money and the means to get the candy bar and as many candy bars as you want. And you just lose track of this reward system that we just take it as, oh, these are snacks. Or since when is a Snickers bar a
yeah,
snack? Since when is a bag of chips a snack? It's not a snack. It's absolute shit fake food that doesn't
yep,
accomplish anything but fuck up your hormones and your blood sugar. Like, it's not a snack. If you're eating meals, well, how do you do that? Do you just because I was just gonna go off on snacks. I feel that if you're eating properly, I understand eating out of like boredom, but do you find that
yeah,
you have snacks? Do you need snacks? I find personally that if I'm eating food, I don't really need to snack. Like if I'm having the proper meals. What's your take or what's your
right.
experience with your meal styles
It
or
kinda
snack
just
styles?
depends on my day,
Yeah.
how I started my day. If I'm busy, I don't really necessarily intermittent fast, but I just kind of it just kind of happens sometimes where I may not eat breakfast just because or they don't feel like it or I'm busy or whatever.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
So
Mhm.
I may find myself mid morning grabbing, like an apple or some grapes, stuff like that. But the snacking isn't too bad. But I will say that whenever I don't have good whole meals, that at night, I want a snack.
Yeah.
And I used to take that as just, I just indulge. But now I realize it's because I didn't give my body what it needs and it's trying to tell me, hey, you need this. And, it's just sending me signals. It might not necessarily know what it needs, but that's up to me to figure out. So, a lot of it has to do with, did I eat a couple good meals during the day? Were they good? Were they filling? And did you restrict your calories too much? And whenever I looked and reflected all that, that's when I find myself snacky, when I didn't eat satiating meals and foods. So yeah,
I find a problem with intermittent fasting. And personally, I find that I really if I don't eat, if I do something more like intermittent fasting, I find myself craving more
yeah,
shitty choices for lack of
stuff,
better. Yeah, just more
yeah,
like I wanna go to the fridge at 6, 7 PM because 'cause I've worked out at that point. If I only had coffee and I worked out, I wanna eat everything.
yeah,
I don't even care, okay, if it's even not good for me. I just wanna eat everything that I can see. So that's actually
yeah,
where I'm almost I wouldn't say I'm anti-intermittent fast. I'm more of like an intermittent fasting person in the sense that once in a while you don't eat for a day. Not necessarily an everyday
yeah.
routine. I just think that most people or many
Mine's not
people.
intentional. It just
Yeah,
just
agreed,
happens.
agreed, but some
It's like,
people
oh,
don't
okay,
aren't meant for it. Some people will
yeah,
really you won't eat all day, but then they'll just eat excessively, and that's not what intermittent fasting is all about. It's not about binge eating and, okay, well, you can eat to excess. It's about it's about still restricting caloric intake, eating better foods, but also trying to balance out
yeah,
your blood sugar profiles and your hormones and those other benefits that have been shown and linked to intermittent fasting. But at the same time, yeah, maybe not for everyone. It's not necessary.
no,
I don't think it's like the secret to
and
health
it's
or long life.
complicated.
It can
It's
be
yeah, it's a lot easier when you just eat. I tell people this all the time. Like, what do you eat? How'd you do it? I eat meat, fruit, and veggies. That's what I eat, and I eat it whenever I feel like eating it.
simple. Yeah.
And it's just there's no tracking. There's no okay, it's noon, I can eat. Oh shit, I'm not somewhere I can eat right now. It's going to be 1:30, and then you find yourself just eating all plates of food. And it's just because your body's like, give me some damn energy. So I don't know. I just intermittent fasting happens every now and then for me, but I don't know. I find just eating now that I'm in tune with my body and not just eating all the time. I know whenever I'm hungry and I eat slower. That's been a huge thing too. Is I slow down my food and I drink a lot of water. And I used to snack a lot, and I think it was because I was dehydrated. I wasn't giving myself enough body. My body was just either associating fluids with eating, so it was sending me some hunger signals, something like that. I don't know. But now, I just I still have the rule that if I get like an odd hunger craving or just all of a sudden I feel like I'm starving, I'll go drink a couple bottles of water, and then it's like, oh, you're thirsty, you needed some water,
It's exactly
you
what
didn't drink anything for the last few hours,
it's what you said
and
before, the signal. Your body will actually let you know. It's actually the thirst mechanism. Your body will signal thirst, but if it's not getting water, if you're not responding to it, it's going to start signaling hunger. It's going to start telling you that you're hungry because
yeah,
you're usually drinking water while you eat, or you're getting food, you're consuming foods that are moist, that have water content in them. And that's super
right,
common. That's super common. Oftentimes, if you want to kind of neutralize how hungry you truly are, you want to drink a big glass of water, maybe even some fresh squeezed lemon because it's alkalizing. So you can
yeah,
actually neutralize your stomach acids and feel more like how hungry you actually are rather than you're just consuming to satisfy a chemical imbalance in your brain and you just overeat or you just eat when you're not even hungry. And that's extremely common. I find that
yeah.
myself. I crave sugar. I'll crave some fruit when I realize I think, okay, no, I'm just thirsty and I chug water and I feel fine.
Yep.
It's amazing.
I'm the exact same way. If I know I just eat, like it's noon and 3 o'clock comes, and I'm like, man, I'm freaking starving. Then it's like, well, that's not normal. So I'll go, drink a bottle of water, a bottle, maybe two, and then just wait. And I'm like, okay, I'm completely fine right now. I'm glad I didn't just go start gorging myself with food
Yeah.
that I didn't need. And yeah, water's it's really the most simple part. I mean, I might say one of the most important parts of it all is just
Yes.
giving your body some water.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely. For sure. For
and it's the only
sure.
liquid I drink outside coffee. I don't drink, and that's been I haven't even touched on this. For me, that's probably one of my biggest parts to success too is cutting out the liquid calories, the Dr Pepper, and all that. Just there's so much calories in a small amount, so
So
it's easy to pack them
many.
on. And I have not had anything outside of water or black coffee in the last year, other than once or twice I've had like a little bit of beer and a little bit of liquor. And I'm talking about a little bit. It's just that's been huge.
Yeah.
Not drinking sweet tea and Dr Pepper.
It gets
I
addictive,
was
man.
drinking 2,000 calories a day in Dr Pepper and
It,
sweet
it,
tea.
it gets
Easy.
it gets addictive when you start seeing results. You just don't crave those things anymore.
Yeah,
I used to eat Sour Patch Kids and stuff like that all the time. I do more grapes and fruit now. I love frozen fruit. I'm a frozen fruit junkie. I love freezing
me
fruit.
too. Yeah,
And everyone always asks me like, "What happened to the candy?" It's like, I always knew it wasn't good for me. I just let it happen because I can get away with it. But your goals
yeah,
shift, and you know what it's doing to your body. Just because you have abs or muscles or you look lean doesn't mean you're healthy. We just talked about it with bodybuilding. So health
yeah.
and true health, just because you look fit doesn't mean you're not, brewing up some cancer and some real bad shit inside your body. And most of these things, I forget what we were talking about before, but I had this topic that I wanted to bring up is when it comes to diseases, they're mostly environmental. They're mostly what you expose
Hmm.
yourself to, whether it's exercise or lack thereof, and nutrition. We talked about. I think it was when we were talking about the food, just eating disease
Yeah.
and feeding it. But if you think about it literally and as seriously as that really translates to, it's so true. It's so true. 2,000 calories a day. I actually bought. It's been sitting on top of my fridge for a couple months now. I bought a bottle of Coca-Cola because I wanted to show people how it can take like grout off tile. I was going to do some
Oh
video
yeah.
and like scrub it off, and I just still haven't opened it, but I remember looking at the back of it, and I think it's a liter bottle. It's one of those smaller ones, but it's like a thousand or 1,200 calories. Just literally pure sugar with water and syrup. It's just the grossest thing. It's so gross and it's
Oh
so
yeah.
unsatisfying. It's literally liquid sugar. If you're thirsty, drink water. It's not cool and refreshing. It's just cancer in a bottle. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
That's
all it
exactly
is.
right.
It's just poison. It's literal poison. I don't know, man. I don't know. What would you say is the most important lesson that you've learned? I know we covered a bunch of different topics and we've spoken before, but What do you think is the most important lesson that you could impart to someone that's listening? You have a lot of support, like, online. I know
Yeah,
everyone's kinda, like, locked in and listening, and a lot of people are gonna catch us later because it's, one of the longer episodes
yeah.
when we do calls, but, what's maybe one of the most important lessons that you've learned through this journey? Like, if you can put it into words even.
Man, I have a tough time pinning it down to one,
Yeah,
but
just
I would
start
say
start with one. Yeah.
probably the most important thing because it's what got it all going for me and is maintaining it is just keep your body moving. It's kind of like, you know, use it or lose it type deal, and that's what happens. You get to a lazy lifestyle and just everything else compounds on top of that. So just get out there, get your body moving, do some fitness, learn about fitness, learn about how your muscles work, and learn the knowledge around fitness. Don't just go do exercises. Learn why you do that certain type of bicep curl or whatever the case is, so that you can enjoy why you're doing it and how it interacts with your body. So I would say fitness because everything else comes after it, or at least it did for me. And it was the segue into healthiness for me. And even the oldest people, they always tell you, I started going downhill when I stopped working and stopped moving. And I've got a perfect example of that actually. So my grandmother is 82 and she has a twin sister
Mhm.
who is of course 82. And their physical abilities are completely different.
Really?
My aunt can move around like it's no problem. But about 10 years ago, my grandfather had passed and my grandmother just she moved away from the farm and she moved to uh, her house in town and just was more or less just around the house taking it easy. And she stopped doing the everyday activities that were simple but yet effective for someone her age, sweeping the front porch or taking care of the cats or whatever it is, going around the farm, just being active every single day. And her health started going down and she just had to have her kidney removed
Oh,
because of
wow.
it. And she's had, several others, hip replacements, whatever. But she says, once I stopped moving and doing things every single day, that's when I started feeling worse. And my aunt, she still has a job and she does the job. It's just a simple little secretary job so that she has something to get up and go do every single day and do a little bit of moving around. It keeps her driving and she's able to use all of her body parts. So, I mean, I would say keep your body moving, do some fitness, you know, and I think everything else segues into it after that if you want it to. But fitness
I
is the
love
most
it,
important
man.
thing.
I
Long,
I love it,
long
man.
breaths, but fitness. Keep your
No,
ass
no,
moving.
that was long, but it was extremely descriptive. I mean, it supported it wonderfully. You know, one of the one of the interesting things about getting older, and of course, we're both young, relatively
Yeah,
speaking for what you were just describing, 82, but being immobile and not having even just a daily goal, like you said, just not having the same chores or a job, like never retire, always stay busy, always stay active, always stay
yeah,
with a schedule, things on your plate, because it keeps everything oiled. No joke.
hmm,
It keeps you it keeps you working your balance, it keeps you working your strength, and if you're exercising, and we have a great opportunity being, having lifted weights up to this point. Obviously, that generation didn't have the same exposure to fitness and technology and stuff that we do now, but just maintaining it and being consistent for the long term. I agree with yoga, mobility, lifting, adjusting. And as you get older, your goals are going to change. Someone that has kids is going to
yeah,
have different goals, and someone who doesn't. Someone that's 70 is going to have different goals and aspirations than someone that's 30. And that just makes sense. But I think you're
yeah.
absolutely right. If you keep moving, then you have a
Stay
major,
active.
yeah, a major thing checked off.
I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm still growing. I have a lot of ways to go, but I'm sure the level of my output of fitness will change. But my goal is to keep it moving with what's relative to what I can do physically as I get older. There's a guy that's in my gym that's like 86 years old, and he's in there every single day, just doing simple stuff. Of course, he can't lift the big heavy weights anymore, but he does what's
Every
relative
day.
to his
Every
age and
day.
health.
Yeah.
And he walks around. I mean, he's got a good posture. He stands up straight. and he just keeps his body moving. And he says that's it. He's just eats good food and moves.
It's inspiring.
That's his advice.
That's it's inspiring. It's super inspiring, and we most gyms have that. Most gyms have, like, those 1 or 2 dudes that have been doing it
Yeah,
since that have been doing it since the dawn of time, right? Since there were gyms, and but they're there, and
yep,
that I always notice that. I always notice that. It's definitely motivating, and it's great to see that people keep it going, but they're usually not new to the gym. They've been doing it for 60 years. They've been
yeah,
doing it as part of their routine. But like you said, man, they've just kept moving. But yeah, just great advice, great, amazing progress. I want to, again, just because this is the first time you've been on the Daily Show, I want to just congratulate you publicly again, in all your progress,
thanks.
because you really embody everything that I try to get across. And that's why I was super excited to have you on here tonight, just because you literally, like, just listening to you talk is literally just my thoughts are just coming out of your mouth. It's just great
Yeah,
how you approach, but you've come across it yourself. You know, of course, you've listened to some of my content, but you've learned through trial and error and success, just like most people do learn. They learn by doing.
yeah,
And if you don't
just
do,
doing it.
yeah, if you don't do, you never fail. And if you never do, you never succeed. And that's really been my push lately, is just to get people going. Just start moving, and then don't stop moving, and try new things. And uh, what would you
Yeah,
say for what about people that what would you say for people that, I don't know, everyone's anxious. So many people are anxious about starting a workout program or starting a new thing, because
yeah,
it seems like a whole lifestyle overhaul. And it is. It is. I get where that comes from, but a lot of people are just anxious about making that plunge because there's so much unknown. But everything's unknown.
yeah,
What are your thoughts on the unknown? Because when you started this journey, you can't say you
yeah.
knew what was going to happen, but you did
Oh, I
anyway.
didn't know at all. Yeah,
You did anyway.
yeah. I would say don't wait for the moon and the stars to align. Just start doing it. You'll figure it out along the way. I just that's one thing that I was able to do good is I just this time I got out there and just kept pushing, kept pushing. But if you wait until Monday or until next month or whatever, those are just days you're wasting that you could have made progress towards your overall health, not just losing weight. Because some people might not be wanting to lose weight; they might be going
Right.
the opposite or whatever.
Right on.
Is just start right now. And I quote it all the time. It's from George Patton, and he says a good plan violently executed right now is better than a perfect plan tomorrow. So and I live by that now. It's like I might not know how, but I've got a good enough plan that I can just go in there and start executing, and I'll figure out the rest later. And you do. It's
And you do.
really not that miraculous.
No, it's
It's
not.
really simple. Just start doing it right now. If you're not doing shit and you're listening to this video, we hang up and you don't have to go to bed or anything like that. Just get your ass up and go. Go do something.
Just start doing it.
And because that's how it worked for me. And just do it. Don't wait for the stars to align because you'll be waiting forever.
You will. I love that quote, man. I have that on my wall behind me. I love that quote. It's You can't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. Nothing's ever going to be just right. It's never going to be easy. And the struggle and all the issues and all the challenges that we deal with every day are supposed to be there. And the crazy
Hmm.
thing is, once you get to where you are, a lot of people listening and watching, they would love to lose 100 pounds, but you're a man that's lost 100 pounds, and you still have goals, and you still have places you want to go. So
Yeah,
it never really ends. It never really ends. There's going to be something else. So if you pin
yeah,
all your success and you pin all what you want to accomplish on a number, and that's it, that's the only thing you're going after, is that number dropping on a scale or inches lost with your pant sizes, you're going to be disappointed. So you have to have, like, that.
short term
Yeah,
success. Yeah,
right. You have to be thinking on a different level, because that's going to come. You're going to achieve that, but there needs to be a
yep,
bigger picture. It needs to be a part of a bigger vision.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. Well, bro, dude, I'll give you a moment if you have any last words. I mean, I think I see a lot of great comments. Eat yourself healthy. I love it. I'm on the same track. Start slow, then you can get a groove. A lot of great support for you, and people that are it seems like on the same journey trying to lose. Do you have any last words? Anything that you want to leave the community with? That was a great couple points about just
Yeah,
doing it and staying moving. Any last thing you want to leave them with?
just get your ass up and do it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. I mean, that's it. Just just get out and start doing. If you start waiting until Monday, then next time you have a tough time, you're gonna wait till Monday again to make your changes, and you're gonna notice that you eat bad. Just
That's Chase's
just start
message.
kicking ass.
Don't wait till fucking Monday, fam. Don't wait till Monday.
Yeah, just
Just do it
yeah.
today. It's
People always tell me
Wednesday.
that all the time. People asking me,
Yeah.
"How'd you do this?" And I go over it all, and they still say, "All right, well, I'm gonna start that Monday." And I'm like, "Well, what are you doing
Why?
like tonight or tomorrow
Why?
morning?"
Yeah, why?
Nothing.
Everyone
Well,
wants to
then go to the
wait.
gym right now. Go tomorrow morning. Like, why are you waiting? The same bullshit you're dealing with today is going to be here next week, next year, next month. Like, all that's not going to go away. This isn't something that just your whole life is going to change on Monday because you start going to the gym. All the same
Agreed.
bullshit's going to be here. So just start doing it.
Agreed. You're still going to have
So
bills. You're going to have responsibility. You're going to have your work. The weather
yeah,
is going to be shitty. It's going to be raining. You're not going to feel like it. You don't feel like it today. Well, guess what? You're not going to feel like it on Monday either or Tuesday. And that's the cool thing, or that's I guess the scary thing for a lot of people is that they're not going to feel like it on Monday. But here's the kicker. You're not going to feel like it on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday, on Saturday,
yeah,
on Sunday, next Monday. You're never going to feel like it. No one, you just have to create that habit to the point where it just doesn't matter what you feel like you're doing it and you've done it and you've been doing it. And then the results come. So, I mean, that's awesome, bro. I really appreciate your time coming on the show and just laying it all out there for everyone again. I know it helps so many people and your story is really inspiring, not just in the short time that you've had success, but just the way you executed it, man. Like
yeah, for
you
sure.
literally embody everything that I hope for people when they get into their fitness, again, into their journey. You just you made it a mind game as much as a physical game. You were consistent from the beginning. You just did it. Like you said, you just did it. So, yeah, again, just from the bottom of my heart, man, thank you for being a part of this community. Thanks for coming on tonight. And yeah, it was a badass conversation. And I hope a lot of you watching Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, I hope you're all taking notes and getting your ass to the gym tonight or tomorrow morning first thing because Papa Chase says so.
That's right. Kick ass.
Hell
So,
yeah,
well, thanks
man.
for having me on. I had a great time and loved doing it. And that's it. If you learn anything, let me know.
You got it, bro. Thank you
So,
so much, Chase. I really appreciate your time, bro. Let's talk soon.
later.
All right, man. Take care. What an awesome what an awesome call. What an amazing story. And I want to reiterate to everyone, just like any kind of transformation or amazing progress, that unfortunately that's not normal. It's not normal to lose 100 pounds in a year, but it's extremely healthy. It's extremely possible. And if he can do it, so can you. And the issue is that we think that it's not normal or that we have to talk about disclaimers and, oh, it's not average to lose that much weight. Well, it shouldn't be average to have that much extra weight to begin with. Don't you think? It shouldn't be normal to be so overweight. This being healthy, making the right choices every day, making the right choices with our activities, what we put in our body, our fuel, that should be normal. That should be the normal thing. That should be the daily. That should be the 0 point. That should be the standard. And if you literally take anything that I say, if you never, ever, ever listen to another one of my podcasts, if you've never heard any single one, if this is your first one, you got it all in this episode. Literally, it's just doing it. And then it's doing it again, and then doing it again. And just like we were talking about at the end of the conversation, every single day, you're not going to feel like it on Monday. What does Monday have that today doesn't have? What does Monday have that tomorrow, that Thursday doesn't have? What does Monday have that Friday doesn't have? What does Monday have that Saturday doesn't have? Why is Saturday not good enough for you to take care of your body? What makes Sunday such a shitty day that you have to wait until Monday? What the clouds are going to part and all of a sudden just gold raindrops are going to fall from the sky? Like nothing is going to happen on Monday that doesn't happen today. The only thing that needs to happen is you getting off your ass and you fucking doing it. That's what Monday needs to bring. And Monday needs to be today. Today is your Monday. Today is always your Monday. Get started today and do it again. You're not going to want to do it on Monday, nor are you going to want to do it tomorrow or next Tuesday or next Wednesday. And I've said it 1,000 times. I don't feel like it often. I don't feel like training often. I don't feel like getting up and going eating food often. I don't feel like editing videos and doing half the shit that I do all the time. No one does. Even things that you enjoy, you're not going to feel like doing some of the things that you have as a responsibility all the time. But fitness is no different. You have to respect your body and respect the process and respect what it takes for your body to be forced to change. And if you do that and you take it that seriously, you will get results and you can get results just like Chase has. And you can get a wonderful change of perspective, a change of life, and a change of your future, and add years and years and years of quality life to your existence by making those decisions and making those better decisions every day and having that vision and looking forward into the future and making it a part of every single day. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I think it was absolute fire. If you just caught it towards the end, make sure you go back and listen to it again. I'm actually going to go back and listen to this myself after I upload it. So that'll be up on SoundCloud and Apple Podcast tonight. If you want to go back and watch the video again, Twitch, of course, Facebook, and YouTube. And thank you for everyone listening, of course, again on the podcast. Thank you for joining me, everyone, for this episode of the most muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, and Pimpcast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Thank you again to Chase, and congratulations for him, his family, and his amazing progress. Today was episode 726. Tomorrow, 727 of the sleazy. And for everyone else, I mentioned this earlier. A couple brand new videos, brand new workshop now available. A couple new chest exercises and a brand new deadlift workshop is now available in Swolenormous X. So those of you that are Swolenormous X members, you can go and check that out. And anyone else that's interested in taking advantage of the free trial offer, you can do so at swolenormousx.com. Don't miss out on that limited time. It's going fast. And I am going to get back on the pony and start editing some more training videos myself tonight. I feel like working out again. I got a good pump earlier, but I feel like that amped me up. That really jacked me up. That was a great episode. That really got me fucking fired up. I'm actually really hungry too. So I hope that you all have a nice pine hot plate of bacon to go munch on. Hum, nom, 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 nom. Or if today is your Monday, go get it. Don't wait. Don't wait. It's time to crush. It's time to crush. If you're thinking about it, if you've been waiting, you don't feel like training, oh, boo hoo, go get it done, fam. I'll see you all in Swolenormous X. Peace, McGee's deuce. Oh, out. Later, guys. See you tomorrow for 727. Peace out, fam. Love you. Goodbye. Goodbye, Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining. I'll see you all tomorrow for 7